The content presented in this podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only. It should not be considered as financial advice, and listeners are encouraged to conduct their own research or consult with a qualified professional before making any investment decisions.
Crypto flip.
In this week's episode, we'll be talking about how I managed to get my hacked crypto back after 7 years. We'll also be talking about a particular crypto that has benefited from Anthropic withdrawing their most powerful AI model yet, and a whole lot more. Make sure you stay tuned for this episode because it's going to be crazy. But before we get into that, you know what we have to do? We have to ease into it by discussing some crypto confessions with our favorite DJs. So let's get into it. Last December, I won 20 grand on a crypto casino. I withdrew all of it and turned it into 40K in a month through trading. In January 26, I began consistently losing money and ran my bag back down to like 15 to 20K. I slowly started depositing into different casinos, hoping to get back what I lost. In February, I deposited my last 15 SOL into a casino and lost it all on blackjack. Been depressed as F since. To this day, I still can't believe how retarded I am. Was 17 during this. I am now 18 now. What do you man make of this?
I reckon this guy is suffering from success and doesn't really know it. Like, cool, bro. Like, you just described a large amount of things happen over the course of 1 year, and you're still only 18. Do you know what's mad, bro? These young people these days, yeah? I'm starting to sound like one of them old granddads. These young dudes these days, bro, they think they're going to put 15 minutes of work in and make 25 mil. Like, man, they've been trying for their whole lives. I just think things didn't work out your way, but ultimately, you're still in a decent situation. And to have made 40 by the time you're 18, 17, yeah, that's a decent shout. But how you made it is the worst. And I don't think you're ever gonna see that type of quick money again unless you have like a whole different standing. Because basically you gambled your way to like 40 bags up and then you lost it. But yeah, I reckon obviously there's still hope for my man. Just lock in. Bro, if I was 17 again, I'd be rich, bro. Like right now, if you have the time, there's the resources out there. I just don't understand what's holding anyone back.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what's holding anyone back, but if you're wondering why these young kids think they can get rich very quickly, it's because we live in a microwave society. You know what I mean? They're looking at Elon Musk, not knowing the work Elon Musk put in. Like, Elon Musk has been working. Like, the reason why Elon Musk is trending is because of the value he adds to the community. Can you believe people complaining about how, yeah, Elon Musk is trending there, but the hungry people in Africa? Who cares, blood? Those people that are starving ain't got they had no value to this world, fam. I mean, obviously, it's a bad thing. People should not be starving. That's the least. That's the basic component of living in my opinion. So, situation where like that one, I just ignorant people been ignorant. That's why I put that as. Back to this guy. I mean, you're 17, 18. You're allowed to make mistakes. Like, this is nothing. Like, what you lost 20 G's because you put 20 G's in, you ran out to 40, you ran back out to 0. It sounds like every cycle of every crypto wallet that I know, especially that dabbles in casino gambling, and then obviously he tried his luck with perp trading and obviously got liquidated.
Yeah, man. For me, it's a cautionary tale for everybody out there to simply stay away from gambling. It's really that simple. And the discouraging thing is that crypto is moving and merging more and more into gambling because the gains are becoming less. So people don't want to give that up. And in order to get those level of gains, this is what they feel they need to do. And yeah, it's never really going to end for you well. So just stay away. Just don't do it. The fortunate thing for you is that you didn't discover this when, you had a wife and kids and your house on it and you took out a mortgage and, you bet everything on it. You're 17, now 18. You can bounce back. just like Rick said, lock in, actually get into the markets, understand what you're doing, look at actual assets, and yeah, play for the long term. You'll be fine, man. You'll be fine. But welcome back to the Crypto Flip podcast. I am your host, Harris King, and I am joined once again with my co-hosts, Ricardo and Deji. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you are listening on audio platforms, don't forget to leave a review because it helps us create new episodes. And if it's your first time here, we're 3 individual investors that are in the market, and we monitor what's going on in order to help you trade and invest better. So with that being said, we are going to talk about something that actually affected me. And I want to hear from the panel and see what their thoughts are and if they've experienced anything similar. So 7 years ago, 2019, was a very cool time in crypto. A lot of things were pumping. You know, we had ETN, we had Verge, we had
ETN.
we had, Dogecoin. This is the era that I'm talking about. So if you want here, like, let me paint some nostalgia for you. So in this market, this was a pretty good bull run. But with every great bull run, there's also a bear. And with every great cycle, there are hacks. And for me personally, I like to be in the trenches. And at that time, that meant looking for projects that hadn't gone mainstream yet and getting in them early. Problem with that is that you often had to go to exchanges that didn't really have the best of reputations, but because of their size, you could potentially get in early. So there was this exchange called Cryptopia. I'm not sure if either of you've heard of it, but I was in Cryptopia. I can't remember the asset I was in. I think it may have been ETN. And I was in there. I don't even think I was in it for that long. The exchange suffered a hack, and then they went into liquidation. And then the whole process began. I thought, okay, calm. I'll get my money back in a few months, whatever. A year goes by. A couple of years go by. You're speaking to Grant and Thornton, who are handling it now. And then it's time and time and time. And then I'm like, is this money ever going to come back? It wasn't a huge amount of money, but it was just the principle of it. It's like, raw. Especially when you're seeing FTX go down and they get their money. Mt. Gox has distributed their money as well. So I'm like, raw, like a couple of years gone. And then obviously I forgot about it for a while. And then, every now and again, you'll get an email saying, oh yeah, this is the next process. This is the next process. 5 years go by. And then a few days ago, they actually released funds. So it was the day amount at the time. So not the value of the token, which is probably better for me and probably for a lot of people. But unless you're in something like Bitcoin or something like that, then you'll probably be shortchanged. However, I want to say, I want to ask, have either of you suffered a hack? And if not, what advice would you give to people in order not to suffer that? And yeah, what precautions can people take? And I'll also give my learnings after.
I mean, congratulations on getting your own money back with 0% interest, where I'm sure it's like accruing interest.
True. You know what it feels like? It feels like I got an airdrop, except it's my own money.
Yeah, so I was also on Cryptopia, also for ETN, but I moved it to the ETN wallet. And for everyone that's still in ETN are actually closing down their own wallet. And when I bought this ETN, it was thousands, but now it's like tens, 20s of dollars. I think I'm just gonna take the L and leave that Electronium there. Maybe I'll move it. I don't know. Actually, I should probably just take that dust out, even if it is $20. What am I talking about? I'll probably do that after this. Anyway, so yeah, bare shady exchanges that you could only trade some of these IPO tokens on. And like, bro, like back in the day, trust me, the ICO game was creative, bro. Like companies were putting out all the stops to make it sound like what they're pushing out is the best thing ever. And if it's only on Cryptopia, you're going to Cryptopia, bro. And bare people got scammed. Bare companies were vaporware. Bare crypto wasn't crypto. And that's why now we're so, because all three of us jumped in ICOs, that's why now we're so cautious about what tokens we get into and not even trying to ride the wave of coins with like 200K, 300K, even 5-10 million in market cap. Anyway, the advice is to not leave your tokens on the exchange. But I'd say I say that's a solution, but like I just said, Electroneum is now like losing support for their own wallet. So really, don't keep stuff on exchanges so that the exchange doesn't get hacked. Because I think most of the exchanges got hacked, bar like 3 or 4. And there's been exchanges that got hacked and nothing's come out of the hack, or there's been personnel that have been compromised in exchanges, like for instance Binance, but no funds were actually taken. But
I think that was Coinbase as well, right?
that was hacking with Coinbase. Kraken, I think actually had like a real hack. But yeah, I mean, generally, you're quite lucky you got your money back. But because there's a lot of companies that are just not taking accountability and are just leaving, which is crazy. But yeah, keep your money off exchanges as best as you can. Keep it in some hard wallet or some ledger, even though that's also not safe. But you know, it's safer than an exchange getting hacked. Or like even in like a mobile wallet, like a mobile cold wallet, hot wallet, like Phantom or whatever. Because technically the keys on Phantom are your own, and you should write down those keys and key them elsewhere. It's just Phantom also has access to it, even so they say that they don't. Anyway, but yes, I reckon that's the only thing you could do. I would love. I'm pretty sure I had some dust on some exchanges that are no longer here. I keep getting emails from Crow Distribution. I think it's a scam though. And some other exchange that I was on that I just keep ignoring because I'm like, you know what, if it was big enough, I'd remember it. But yeah, congrats to you, bro. But it's just a cautionary tale of crypto exchanges are gonna go down, and at the end of the day, you just need to have some backup plan.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, whenever your business plan is basically we're gonna give you special access to private token that just come out of ICO, you're bound to go bust, fam. So I mean, that I haven't particularly invested in an exchange that, unfortunately, that has gone bust. But I've made my fair share of crypto mistakes. Like, I mean, we'll go into some of those stories one day, but I think one advice I can give is, one, like you already said, I mean, you want to try and take custody of your own assets. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, if you have BTC, ETH, whatever your favorite token is, whether it's injective or whatever it is, just, especially if you're banking on it, because I see people, I mean, sometimes, obviously, I've been on Reddit a little bit lately, and then for research, and you know, people go like, I hear things like, I love this asset. Dude, that's literally when you start saying you love something, that's where usually the downfall begins. So, personally, for me, it took me multiple cycles to understand that ICO was in the way. And advice I'll give is you want to learn fast in the space, as fast as possible. Love other people's mistakes as well. And because like I've seen people get bankrupt that put all their eggs on one exchange, like FTX, Cryptopia, all that kind of stuff. So it's like, imagine having $100,000 all in one exchange. That's just dumb. That's just dumb. So things like that, you want to just avoid being that cautionary tale. Like, you know, you never want to be the person that people are learning from your mistakes. I think that's one advice I'll give. Secondly, always remember altcoins. Yes, all altcoins. And then I'll probably I'll put ETH on the side and not band in the bracket of all altcoins, but all altcoins, yes. And also I rip hype heard as well, a hype from it as well. All altcoins exist to be shorted to zero. So when you have that mindset in mind, you'll be more cautious whenever people say, oh yeah, that's a new shiny token, blah, blah. You know what I mean? You want to do your research before you ape into it. I think that's one of the things that I've learned in my many years in this crypto space. I feel like, I mean, just like the whole SpaceX IPO was immensely hyped. And don't forget, that's in a more traditional liquid stock market, which has got tons of liquidity. But now imagine that same hype in crypto. It probably doesn't do well. You know what I mean? Probably falls face flat. You know what I mean? So I think my thing is want to be cautious whenever, you know what I mean, those too good to be true. Because a lot of the time I've been scammed on money is when I feel like, oh, I'm getting a private access, I'm getting early access. And then let you know, boom, money gone. Because you thought you're getting a special pre-sale IPO. So I mean, like you said, you ever see, I mean, you never want to take multiple cycles to learn that ICOs wasn't a way, but eventually I realized it wasn't, especially the previous cycle before this one. That's when I realized, yeah, all these tokens are going to zero. Like, I don't know if you remember CoinList. CoinList used to be hot for ICOs. After the 2017 ICO boom, they became the next exchange that only does, like, they only list ICO tokens. Obviously have the regular stuff and everything, but that was their thing. But eventually, they also now, I don't want to say they're going bust, but now a lot of those ICO tokens are basically going to zero. And they're now telling me, oh, you come withdraw your dust. And I'm like, cool, safe. Convert that USDT for me, I'll come grab that. So it's like, you just want to be cautious and just be wary where you invest in it. And just stick to the no-brainers. Like, some of the time, like, people look at hype and like, yeah, it's going to go down to zero. That was a no-brainer investment right there. ETH is a no-brainer. Bitcoin's a no-brainer. But the rest, invest at your own risk.
So I want to go around and say and ask, what has been your biggest mistake in crypto so far as an investor or a trader?
Selling early. If I
What
didn't
is
know
it?
crypto, I never bought.
But no, you can't use that, right? Because like,
That's a
anyone can
mistake,
say
bro.
that. No, anyone can say that. Oh, I saw ETH too early. I saw this too early. I think everyone on X. Oh, I saw too late. Oh, I saw too early. Like, that's a common theme in crypto.
All right.
In my
All
opinion.
right, I got a different one then. Probably, bro, like, there people talk about the crypto market. So many people. Actually, too many people talk about the crypto market. I think it's very easy to listen to too many people's opinion on the market and let that affect your strategy, the strategy that's been working for you. And the example was, so I got into Monaco, which was crypto.com now, at ICO. And I loaded up on a bunch of MCO when I bought originally, but not even that much. And I'm like one of their founding members. I've got the black card and everything. Just gonna stunt that to get me. But basically, yeah, I was in Monaco and I have funds staked on crypto.com, and different funds state allow you to do different things. But when you're a founding member, you can stake less and still get like better rewards. Anyway, I remember I was like actively in all these communities, and they're like, listen, crypto.com is gonna go bust, it's gonna go bust, there's gonna be a bank run or a bankroll, and then they're not gonna have enough funds to pay people. And I'm like, yo, this is possible, because they've done some shady things in the day. Anyway, I decided to remove my stake and take my crypto.com off the exchange, the staked amount. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like, if I left it there, and bro, like, crypto.com, when staking was going crazy and they were offering 8 to 10% on your USDC and 20% on your crypto.com and X, Y, and Z things, like, bro, they were winning. It was like, it was a winning. But yeah, anyway, so I took the funds off. Obviously nothing happened to the exchange, they're still here. And yeah, it didn't have to go that way, but it did. And then I lost all my staking benefits and all my staking rights, and now I get less APR based on how much I actually stake on the platform. And that's an example, but realistically, like, I just shouldn't have been listening to some next set of guys pushing their agenda and using it as actual investment advice and making actions on it. Like, I feel like we all have the time and energy. We just need to go out there and review what we need to review. But I kind of pulled the trigger on that one too fast.
Yeah. That's a bonus take right there for me even as well, because I feel like there are times where like have like crypto Twitter, you know what I mean, you just being brainwashed scrolling late, and then you fell them for the fun, and you sell your tokens early. So I've been there, done that. But if I'm being honest with you, man, if I'm being truly honest, for me, it was the ICOs, bro. Like, it was the ICOs, bro. Like, when I tell you, instead of me to be buying BTC and ETH, I bought BTC and ETH and I used that to invest in ICOs. And funny enough, the thing is, for me, it's like the ICOs I invested in were actually good. Like, I mean, but the problem was always thinking these altcoins are gonna do something. They were literally gonna land on a promise. I remember I invested in One Chain, I invested in Decentraland Mana. Like, I bought at like 0.00036. You know what I mean? Obviously, it took Mana a long time for it to actually do its explosive move, and then obviously now right back down to nothing. But still better off compared to what the ICO price was. But I invested in some great ICOs, man, and then because I had that early success, what do you think it did? Give me that positive feedback loop, like, yeah, you know what you're doing, yeah. So anytime I see an opportunity to jump on ICO, I jumped into it until instead of obviously slowing down and stopping and just kind of catching out and enjoying the fruit of the labor the man's worked on, I just couldn't stop. Like, I just kept investing, whether it's this new ICO or it was an ETH ICO or whatever. It's just wherever they wanted to accept cash, whatever. Basically, point was, it got to the end where, like, you know, ETH, the value was slowly decreasing. That should have been the tell sign. Like, listen, if ETH is going down and NEO's going down, like, these values of these ICOs are not what they should be anymore. But some investment you made earlier on, and then they're only just releasing 6 months later. By the time you got that token, it's already basically we've been dumped on literally by VCs, and VCs obviously one laughing whether it's the bear market or the bull market. I feel like, you know, not obviously I dabbled in a little bit. I think I invested like 3 ICOs in the previous cycle compared to this one, and obviously they did all right. Like, I invested in Casper.
How you broke it?
Casper team, they had this agreement, one of the top projects that they were actually designing a blockchain for, and they moved. So that kind of ruined the value of Casper. Mina was like the value proposition was too good to be true. Like, a mobile privacy blockchain, just sounded too good to be true anyway. And then fast forward, obviously all these tokens are now basically zero. Like, zero. So in my opinion, I think my biggest mistake was not investing in some of the OGs. Like, even it doesn't have to be the top 3, like, let's say BTC, ETH, and XRP. But I was so focused on ICO so much, thinking that was my path to become a multi-millionaire in crypto, that it came back and bat me in the end, because I missed out on so many other big moves that were actually past previous ICOs before I came to the space, now doing well and excelling and obviously doing the thing. I remember seeing Cardano at Satoshi's. You know what I mean? Like, and then just ignored it. Now, obviously, Cardano is not really a great example in today's climate. But yeah, I think for me, it's just like, it's that tunnel vision of thinking, this is the path, and not knowing, and not just kind of diversifying away from just constantly. Like, imagine the fun being IPO dependent. Yeah, you're gonna hit some IPOs out of the park, but not all IPOs are great IPOs. Like, we all know that. I mean, just giving you a perfect example, Deliveroo was just the worst IPO of all time. So no, I know IPO ICOs are equal. Not every IPO will be like SpaceX. You know what I mean? That's still doing okay. So yeah, man, it just I think that's probably my biggest lesson, just not being too tunnel vision and thinking this path is the only path. There's multiple other paths. You know what I mean? People have gotten rich off airdrops.
Yeah, those are 2 great lessons. For me, I think my biggest mistake was being working in the crypto industry while simultaneously investing in this crypto industry. And the reason why that was a mistake, in my opinion, is because I was always susceptible to the market, like times 2, because I'll be investing, and obviously I'm getting paid in crypto or whatever, calm. The problem was, when the market turns, not only do investments go down, you get laid off, and now you're trying to play catch up because you don't have income. So you're not really moving forward. And opportunities come, you can't invest because you don't have the income, and it was just a mess. So yeah, from this cycle, I was like, you know what? I have to pivot away, otherwise I'm gonna keep being like a slave to the market cycles, and it was only getting worse with NFTs failing and altcoins doing poorly as well. So that was probably my biggest mistake, trying to sort of double dip. You can make money without being in crypto.
What were you getting paid in USDT, or you getting paid in like Electron or ETN or things like that?
No, it was usually like either Sol or like USDC. It's mainly like USDC on Sol.
Yeah. If you're getting paid in stables, and I'm sure that bad, but it's just the mistake is compounded when you get laid off, and then I got scramble to kind of make things work because the market's not turning. You got now fix the portfolio. Nah, I get it. No.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously when the market does turn and you're looking for a new opportunity, no one's hiring, and it's just a mess. So yeah, for me, I was just like, look, there's a million and one ways to make money. So let me just choose another route, and then I'll just use that capital to invest, because then I can actually take advantage when the market does turn, because my income isn't actually dependent on the market. So I think that was the biggest lesson for me. And another lesson that we should all learn is that sometimes things aren't forever, because Claude recently withdrew their most powerful AI model yet. I'm sure you already heard of it. It's Fable 5. And the reason why I bring that up is because Tau, as a result, surged 17.2%, which is mainly driven for the growing demand for decentralized AI alternatives. So do you think this could actually help the likes of Tau and other decentralized AI platforms? Especially with the government in the US being so afraid of powerful AI models and potentially AGI, especially falling into hands in which they can't control or they dislike. What do you think?
I mean, I reckon the whole US government decided to ban Fable because they found some vulnerability, some way of jailbreaking it and then using it for nefarious things. It's wild, bro. I think that's not really something for you to control. I mean, they're not banning guns, bro. They're promoting guns. They're not banning casinos, and they're not banning.
Hello. Talk your talk,
Bro.
Talk your talk.
Bro, but they decided they wanted to ban this AI model because they found a potential issue. And when Anthropic had a look, they're like, bro, this same issue is visible in Opus 4.8, 4.7. It's visible in GPT 5.5. I can keep reading off models. But I guess the US government is wanting to swing their dicks around. And that's fact, yes. That put everyone on the back foot that we're running businesses, and not just like technology businesses or like financial businesses. We're running like healthcare businesses on AI. We're running like all sorts like of things using these AI and using latest models, and we're just automatically adopting latest models. So the whole idea of a decentralized AI model made total sense, and we saw like people started downloading things like Llama, things like what's Stuba's free model called again? I can't even remember, but like Qwen, DeepSeek, like all of these free models, and the cost of hardware to run these free models have shot up even since Fable 5 got banned last week. But generally, people are now realizing like I can't really depend on these large government institutions, which are hosting a bomb, bro. Like, not large government, these large private institutions. It's only a matter of time before things like Tau climb and continue to climb. If Tau is climbing now, I would put good money on the fact that it will continue to climb going up in the future. Because like even me, like as like a really small agency, like there's companies that want to incorporate AI, but they cannot have their data hitting Claude Azure, AWS, Anthropic, sorry, OpenAI, any of them. So they're like, what can we do? And the solution is you have to run yourself your own model, bro. Like you have to buy the hardware and run your own model because they're not trying to reinvent the world. They just have some flows that AI could really streamline and make better. So yeah, I think that's where the world is gonna go. I think these big companies are gonna start losing shit, and your decentralized towers, and potentially there's even room for like more decentralized AI model providers. I reckon they'll start to shoot up. The problem is though, if it's decentralized, yeah, obviously there's still a risk of like a 51% attack. So I wouldn't really trust a decentralized AI model when you can run one yourself. When it's literally, the limitation is literally hardware. Like I wouldn't trust it. But that's like thinking a lot further down the pipeline. And a decentralized AI model might be enough for what some people need it for. But yeah, man, you have to need to wake up and let's see to chill out, bro.
No, listen, you hit so many nails on the head, man. I mean, like, I was leading on X here, just to add some points to some more points to what you said, Eric. That the chief scientist, the chief researcher at Opus, yeah, and this is all speculation, and nothing's fact, nothing. The US government is gonna come and say, yeah, that's why we banned freedom. That's why they're never gonna say that. You know what I mean? And 100%, this is it. So I was going to say Elon Musk. This is man like what's his face again? This orange bastard. President Trump. This is President Trump swinging his dick for real, because one, there's speculation about because like first of all, the Anthropic employees have come and said they feel like they're being unfairly targeted by the US government, and I feel that too because they're the only one that have had their model shut down. And if you're worried about because there was speculation about how like the chief researcher at Anthropic is a non-US citizen, so they're worried about, I mean, there could be a potential leak to his origins, blah blah blah. The man has been working at Anthropic all this time. They released Opus 5, all the Opus models has been out. They didn't say nothing. Now you're hearing from the people out, and Amphibious is probably the most powerful one yet, and you decide to just swing your hammer on them. Like, just for like, one, it's unfair. Two, it does maybe potentially highlight the need for the centralized AI. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't think this. I will now start saying, Tau is a buy, because I honestly feel like all coins are literally gonna go to shit. They're all going to zero, and that includes Tau as well. Unfortunately, because I haven't seen enough on Tau. I mean, they have all this crazy thing about subnets of AI agents, blah blah blah. Haven't seen a delivery yet. And then it's all been about the token. It's about the token price. That's all I see online. No one's ever say, I've been like, deep this white paper. This is brilliant. Like they're here. They're in phase 2. Now they're gonna go to phase 3. None of that. It's all about token prices. Oh, we're up 70%. Oh, we're up 5%. Oh, we're down. So for me personally, yes, I think what it will be is, especially big companies, whether you're small, SME, giants, they're not gonna now be like, we're starting to invest in decentralized AI like Tau. No, they're gonna just go around their own infrastructure. You know what I mean? Or go to enterprise. Like this company I'm working right now, they're now obviously now banning like public AI stuff like that, and they're now moving to more of their own private ones. And then and you're only allowed to use, like, if you want to use like Claude or stuff like that, you have to use the enterprise. And then if you can't afford it, you wait until they can give you a seat. You know what I mean? So they're really not messing around. They really are worried about data breach. And I understand, like, data breach is a serious issue. Like, you can erode away your market share, and then you lose customer trust, and then, you know what I mean, you're just giving your competitors room to grow, and then you don't need to do that, and they don't need to make such a mistake. So I understand why some companies don't want to put all their eggs in one basket and go all in on, let's say, for example, imagine the company goes all in the Fable, only to now be dialed back like, Fable's gone. And we don't know. I anticipate the Fable will be back, to be honest, because I feel like, you know what I mean, this is just a situation where, like, maybe Trump was stressed, and after dealing with Iran, he feels like, he's got to do something else to stay relevant and increase his approval ratings or whatever. But this ain't it, I think. You know what I mean? Like, and the funny thing as well is, like, how the Chinese people operate. The Fable was on the market. Fable was available for a week. I have it on good authority that it's already been distilled in some of this Chinese AI, Chinese LLM. So it's like, I mean, you're worried about it being distilled or potential jailbreak and that kind of stuff. That man already got their hands on it. It's good. That's good. It's already been distilled. So, you might as well unban it, in my opinion, because you banning it just shows, like, if you don't use this model and give feedback and then they see how it's being used, like, what he's trying to prevent a security risk, but you could actually allow China to circumvent US and become the market leader in AI by doing this. You know what I mean? So now what? GPT is not going to be worried about having the model. Obviously, I think Trump is obviously targeted Anthropic. So I don't think this will happen to I don't think this will happen to Elon's Grok or Altman, OpenAI models. But I feel like eventually it will happen, dude, because it was out there for weeks, bro. It's already been distilled. So everything you think is gonna get out there, that man already had that pre-transformer already distilled already. So
they had it out for Fable. So Fable is Anthropic's first like 5-level AI model, and they've given Mythos, which is the next level above, to everyone, like to US government and to big US corporations. Like I think it's like a month and a half ago. And so this was the first public release of a classified model from Anthropic. So the US government have had it for a while. They've had it, apparently it's so powerful, it's broken encryption and found so many different bugs across so many different government websites, blah, blah, blah. So Anthropic went away and they tried to like safeguard it. They tried to put some more safety rules in there, blah, 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 before they release it to everyone. For the US government to come out and say, look, I see that you did some work, but it's not good enough. Like, you need to do some more work. It's kind of cheeky, but also it probably lends to the fact that all of the bugs that were found with the level 5 LLM from Anthropic weren't finished being fixed by the US government. That's probably the most likely occurrence here. They still need more time to fix the plethora of issues with their government websites, with the government services, with their government payment rails, all of it. And so basically they're just using this as an opportunity to say, oh, listen, we need more time, so you're gonna have to take that off. Because if you don't, like, people are gonna be stealing from the US.
Yeah, but then no, and I hear like if something's a threat to national security, I understand they need to shut it down. And then this only makes the myth of Fable LLM even bigger. And then you heard about the one prompt success stories all over X, and I get it. But this is on you, fam. I mean, your government, if you want so cheap, you hire the top talent and make sure your shit is unbreakable, fam. You know what I mean? And it's a wake-up lesson. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be vulnerable. Like, you run the world. Like, you should not be susceptible to cyber attacks or getting hacked by LLM or LLM showing your vulnerabilities. Like, it shouldn't happen anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, I think this whole Fable debacle has actually opened up potentially a new lane when it comes to crypto. It would be very interesting to see how many more or newer decentralized models that we see pop up. Obviously the Sensor Tau is one that we've discussed, but it'd be very interesting to see if this is that sort of catalyst or sub niche that may crop up and lend itself to being, the next big thing that people start investing in, if the government and the US government have like a blanket ban on AI or something. Because I was doing some mental, I don't want to say gymnastics, but some mental thought experiments. And I was like, what would I do if I was the CEO of Anthropic? Why wouldn't I just move my company abroad, out of the jurisdiction of the US? Then I was like, yeah, but then, potential tax implications, and more than that, because they can probably afford it. They're going to obviously IPO, but okay, maybe they can get around that. But even more than that, then, if they're outside of the jurisdiction of the US could just say, if you're not a US company, you're not going to be able to serve the US market, and that's the biggest market. So the bit of but like in a catch-22, and it's quite ironic that the US is doing this when they criticize other countries for not being free markets. So yeah, I understand the reasoning. potential security and everything else. But what it means for crypto investors and stuff, if it's as powerful as they say it is, because I was unable to use it at the time. I was actually planning to use it on the weekend, but it got banned just before. If it's as powerful as people are claiming and the company itself is claiming, then yeah, some of the like the research and also the sort of the trading not algorithm, what's the word I'm looking for? So some of the trading patterns and strategies that you'd be able to implement as a direct result of that would be pretty crazy. So if and when it does get reinstated, make sure to use that as soon as, because it was already going to be a limited release. I think until like the 22nd of June. I'm not sure if they'll sort of pick back up where they left off, or if they'll just put it straight on API. Hopefully not, because obviously that can rack up. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But AI isn't going anywhere. It's only going to get more powerful. So make sure you use it in your crypto trading and investing journey. But with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.